Okay, I guess this is one of those officials. You are now being recorded. I'll tell you that legally, right? All right. I'm so excited to be on the call today. I feel like my day started at 6 a.m. and I've been nonstop talking. So I'll try and stay concise and to the point here. I'm also looking down. I don't want to do that. But what Mary and I were talking about is this whole notion of growth. And as you guys know in this business, like selling and booking are absolutely fantastic. And people that want to just sell and book are great. But how you really get explosive growth is through duplication. You can only be out selling so many products per night, and how you really leverage the direct selling industry, you know, beyond just a little extra money here and there, is by duplicating yourself and helping other people be successful. Because it's not just about signing more people up, it's about setting them up for success. And if you think about a career plan, our career plan really is about reimbursing you for helping someone else be successful. Because if you sign someone up and they're not successful, then you're not going to make any additional income. So your success is tied to their success, and you're going to have that mindset. And when you talk to people about the business, you need to let them know that you are completely vested in their success as well. And I know we've got several leaders in this unit that really exemplify that, you know, including Mary, who's on the call with us, but others as well. And so I know it's important, but I just want to make sure that we know that, but we also have to say that when we're talking to people. Mm-hmm. So here's my list, and I've got a one-page thing of notes, so I'm going to stick to it. But the first thing I've noticed since we've moved over to Dove chocolate is it's sort of twofold, but it's a clean slate. So it is not. Hi, Tommy. It is not the previous company just morphed into something new. It is a complete clean slate. So some of our thinking, good, bad, or indifferent, some of our stinking thinking has come over with us just because we went through a bit of a treacherous time the last couple of years. And so we want to make sure that we approach this opportunity with a completely clean slate. And not only that, but when I first started looking at Dove, I was like, it's chocolate. Like, it was so hard to make that jump from one product to the next, or from one comp plan to the next, or from one percentage to the next. But what I really found is when I had such a block up that I had to really step back and look at it. And then I was like, it's chocolate. Everybody loves chocolate. Everybody needs to prepare food. Like, our available group of people that can do our business just doubled because men and women do this business line, right? Now it's still more heavily weighted towards women, but it just opened up everything. Like, everybody eats. No secret there, right? Not everybody wears other products that maybe we used to represent. So we have to just approach this with a clean slate and not bring any of our baggage in from any past experiences with any company, right? We want to bring our experiences and our knowledge, but not our baggage. And that's going to be really important to really being successful. Mary, you can jump in. I know your voice is not great, but if there's something I say that you need to add on, you go ahead and interrupt me. But okay. I want to bring you back to this whole industry thing and why we're in direct sales. Well, of course, we all know the great things about direct sales is you get to be your own boss. You get to decide how often you work and how hard you work, how much income you want to make. Like, at a 9-to-5 job, you can work all you want, but you're probably not going to get an increase until the following year because they only hand those out once a year, right? And so in our business, we can ramp down, we can ramp up, we can schedule around our family. And so that ability to be flexible is huge. Mary, do you see the chat there on the bottom?
I'm on my phone, but yeah.
Okay, so if you see a chat box, if you could just answer it while I'm talking, that's awesome. Okay, so the thing about it is it's a great industry regardless of which company you're with, but we're with a fantastic company, so we're going to talk about that. And why I'm talking about this first is because more important than you being able to offer the gift of this business to someone else is actually you wrapping your head around what a gift you have in this business. And that's, I think, where we get stuck sometimes. So in this industry, this direct selling industry, you guys have heard this probably before, but 80% of the women in this country that make more than $100,000 a year do it through direct sales. Now, the vast majority of the people that you sign up are not going to come in here going, I want to make $100,000 a year, because there are women in this company that are making it. And I believe if we stay to it, we'll have a few in our unit as well, right? But most women come in just to make a little extra side money, but then they catch the vision for what this industry can really do. And so don't ever think about it as just a small little hobby thing. Even if you want it to be a hobby for yourself, it is a legitimate business model. It works if you work it. So direct sales is by far a very reputable company. You know, there are people that have had bad experiences with it, but if it's a company, a solid company like ours, and women really working the plan, it absolutely works. Absolutely works. And I had the pleasure of being at the home office last week and seeing tons of these women in action. It was really good stuff. So the first thing we want to do is just wrap our head around why we love our industry and then what sets us apart as a company. Like, what does set us apart as a company? Well, I named the first thing, which is the product. The product, does it sell? Yes, it sells. Does it sell to anyone? Yeah. Most importantly, direct sales is evolving. It's morphing because women are stinking busy, right? And so the traditional, direct sales Tupperware party or Mary Kay party or anything like that was scheduled 3 weeks out and everyone mailed invitations and all their friends showed up, or at least half of them. That model is not sticking any longer. We are in a fast-paced world. We're working, we're taking care of kids, we're doing this, we're doing that. And this company is evolving with that. And we've got stuff coming that is amazing. And we have tools out there that are just, we learned about one earlier today on a call. Mary and Megan were on one with me about the power of Margot and where it's going and how it can really expand your business for you. So the first thing I want you to do is just sort of wrap your head around, we've got a great business model. Like over 80% of the people, if they could identify one flavor that they prefer, chocolate is what comes up, right? But again, it's not just the sweet chocolate. It's all of the other things that we have to offer. I personally connect with our savory line much faster because I want to be able to put healthy food on the table quickly for my family and make life easier. And so there's many, many different aspects of our business and a lot more coming as well. I'll just say that much because I'm not supposed to say a lot about that. So here's the thing. When we're offering our business, it is a simple $115 investment. And if you're using those 3 passes in your kit, the discount codes, it's $85. You can legitimately offer this business to someone and have them making income within 2 parties. A lot of them make money their very first party, but you can do it within 2 parties where you're actually putting cash in their pocket. Okay. Now, the business I came from, we were getting people to sign up for almost $700, and then they were reinvesting money and paying out hostess benefits and doing all these other things to a point where it got kind of hard to have confidence to say, I can show you how to put money in your pocket today, right? Like right away, I can show you how to do that. Whereas this business model allows us to do that. Like we are completely confident that we can have someone invest, whether it be $85 or $115, and within 2 parties walk away with cash in their pocket, right? It's a very, very low risk, and all of the resources that you need are there. And so it's just a great business model. So again, once we wrap our head around that, it's so much easier to offer it, right? It's just so much easier to offer. I do want to address the percentages really quick because I had this discussion with a consultant last week. In our previous company, again, not going back and forth and all of that and getting stuck, but there were percentages that were higher, 35 or 50% that were higher, right? But of that amount, we were then paying out hostess benefits, which would be about 7.5 to 10%. We were paying out all of the supplies, which can be earned now in this company, and many, many other things, hostess gifts, et cetera, right? So in this company, in a previous company, at best, you were probably looking at a 40 to 35% profit margin at very best, right? Whereas this company, you can earn up to 40 and not pay anything out of your pocket at all. And so even if you're a very part-time consultant, I did these numbers earlier today, a very part-time consultant doing just 1 party a week, our average show is 420. So that's about $1,680 in sales per month, right? So at $1,680, if we do 1 party a week and do 4 average shows, we're already at the higher percentage level, which is 30, which again is just the first bump because it can certainly bump up higher, right? And if we do that, the amount of money that we can make in our parties bumps to about 100 to 160 per show. So if you break that down and you're making, let's just use an average between the 100 and 160, $130, and your party's 2 hours long. And yeah, you had to do a little bit before and after the show, but really for those 2 hours of partying, you're making like $60 an hour. Now, when you break it down like that and you're having fun, like it is really not a big thing that we should get stuck in our heads in terms of offering this to other women. Because the last time I was in a room full of women, almost every single one of those people needed more income for something, right? So let's not forget when we are out and about or when we're at our parties, there are people that need sports money. There are people that need money for their kids' lessons. There are moms that want to get home and stay home, right? There are people getting closer to retirement. There are people like me who have daughters planning for weddings. There are a plethora of reasons why people want to earn additional income. And this is a legitimate way to do that on a very easy and fun, route there. for lack of a better way of saying it. But more importantly, with our plan, if nothing else, you would have to believe that with our Quick Start program, which is by far the richest I've ever seen, because we pay out cash bonuses that are higher than any other company that I've seen. I mean, ours go 100, 125 to 150. So at $150, if you sign up your third person, everyone after that is at 150. I mean, we should be jamming during our Quick Start period, because if you think about it, not only do you have that ability to make that money, but then the person you give the gift of this business to also has that ability to make the money. So I ran some numbers quickly today, and I was looking at it. So at Quick Start, you're talking about $375 just for signing 3 people up. But if you sign an additional up after that, you'd be looking at $1,125. Or your Quick Start period is 3 months. In 3 months, if you offered this to enough people and 10 people took you up on it, you'd be looking at $1,425. $1,400. Now, what would you do with $1,425 between now and Christmas? What would you do with it? It's not chump change, right? I mean, right. If I could write you a check for $1,400, would you find something productive to do with that? Yeah. I mean, it's money sitting out there on the table that's not available once you're past your Quick Start program. And not only is it available now that you have to go after it, but it's also a gift that you can give to someone else, right? So if Mary signs someone else up, she's giving that person the ability to offer the same gift and make that money. So you have to think about it from that standpoint. And we're not asking people to throw tons of money into a business model, even if they want to try it for 2 shows, 4 shows, 2 months, 3 months, even their Quick Start period, they will make money. And we can confidently tell women that, right? Our confidence needs to be very, very full. I've talked about this a lot in my past as a direct seller, but sometimes people's confidence when it comes to trying something new is very low. And so this is why I'm hitting more on us versus them, because we have to have the confidence that we have something really good to offer. And we have to loan our confidence to people when they're just not sure that they can do something like this. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody connecting? I also want to point out the other thing. Dave Ramsey, anybody know who he is? He's like a financial guru. Love him. I've taken his class at our church. I've read his books and everything. But Dave Ramsey's one that even says a home-based business, even if you're just going to do it on a hobby level, is going to create so many tax breaks for you, legitimate law-abiding tax breaks, that you're going to make more money even just by signing up than not. So let's just think about it from a standpoint. Couldn't you open a couple conversations just based on taxes alone? I mean, who couldn't use a tax write-off? Your cell phone, your internet services, your home office, all those things become a tax write-off when you have a home-based business. And if you're really not sure you want a home-based business, then you certainly want to try one that's pretty simple. And ours is pretty simple, right? Low investment, good return on investment, fun, product that everyone likes. And then let's talk about the booking aspect, okay? Some products, there are a lot of companies out there that represent it. But our product, there's only one company that I know of that sells it. Just one, right? And so we're not competing with, all these other companies that do the same thing that we do. We're new and exciting, and yet we have a company that's been around a long time, so we're financially sound, right? So we're not competing with anyone. We have a tasting experience that no one else can offer. So it's just fun and new and different, right? And people these days are not looking for more stuff. They're looking for more experiences, and that's what we're offering. We're not offering just more junk that's going to be sitting in their closet. We're offering things that you can actually use and have an experience while you get the whole buying experience. Does that make sense?
If I could interject there, I am finding that people are way more excited about hosting a chocolate show. And husbands are telling their wives to book a chocolate show. So, I mean, like the wider demographic, but people's faces are lighting up. What? Chocolate? I'm totally on board. So I think compared to where we've come from, the bookings are coming much easier now.
Yeah. So, and then again, we're going to talk about moving this from our mindset to actually asking people to join the business. But think about it. Who do you know that used to be in direct sales that has left it? Almost everybody. If you ever leave direct sales, it's because you've run out of bookings. Mm-hmm. Really. It's what discourages people the most. In my 13 years, no one ever had a full calendar of bookings and then just walked away from the business. It was always the people that had no bookings. So who do you know that's been in this industry that ran out of bookings and called it? You know what I'm saying? They're great people to talk to about this business. Or if you know somebody that signed up with another company, ask them, how are your bookings going? It's a great conversation to have. How are your bookings going? Okay, so again, I'm not trying to convince, I'm just trying to get you to think about how you're thinking about your business, but I want you to start with a clean slate, right? Clean slate, great business model, low investment, good return on investment, fun product, bookings are not that hard, which is our biggest hurdle in this industry. Okay, so with that mindset, I just want to talk about some things that you probably already know, but I want to remind you because these things still work. So when we are out and about talking about our business, there's some tips, and I just wrote them down because I didn't want to forget any. But the number one thing that I find when people are not recruiting, and I hate the word recruiting because no one wants to be recruited, but when we're not offering the gift of our business or putting the offer out there for people to take a look at our business, because we're not trying to sign people up right away. We're just trying to determine if there's an interest level, right? So the number one reason why we don't get business leads is because we fail to ask. Mm-hmm. It's also the number one reason why we don't get booking. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. It's always no, right? If you don't ask, then you're speaking for another person. So always ask. And if you ask and you ask the right way in a non-pushy way, and I'm going to give you some words to do that, and you ask in a way that connects them to why you want them in your business, then you've basically casted a compliment, built that person up a little bit, and at the worst case, she says no and she still feels better about herself. So why did you not do it to begin with? Right? So as an example, a couple of things I want you to, if you can, write these down, but I always like sort of a soft entry into introducing the business. And a couple that have been around forever, or a specific one is, have you ever thought about doing something like I do? Have you ever thought about doing something like I do? In fact, even at your parties, you can say, ladies, I want you to pay attention to how fun and easy my job is. And maybe it's something that you've considered doing in the past, and maybe we can talk about that later, but just pay attention. See how easy it is. Right? Get them involved that way. Another thing I always like to say is sometimes I'll connect with someone and it'll just be like left field, right? Like I'm thinking about it, they're not thinking about it, but I'm going to introduce it and I know it's sort of going to be like, huh? I'll say something like, you know what, Mary, this may or may not be for you, but I got to ask you. Have you ever thought about doing something like I do? Right? Or, you know, Mary, I just have to ask you, you have such a charisma and you have such a way with people and you have a huge network of friends and tons of your friends booked tonight. Would you ever consider doing something like I do, right? And so all I'm doing is saying, Mary, you're great. You're outgoing. You've got lots of friends. I'm saying all these authentic, positive things about her. The worst thing she's going to say is no. And of course, when someone says no, I don't think I could do it. Tell me why you don't think you could do it, right? And then they'll usually give you what it is they don't think they can do. The answer to a no is always a question, at least initially. So when someone says no, I'll say, was that no, not now, or no, not ever? Same thing applies to a booking, right? If they say, I don't think so, and I'll say, well, what makes you not think so? And I say it in a real positive way, smiling, not threatening, right? Or they might say something like, there's no way I could possibly do it. I have very little time. If I could show you how to do it in a really short period of time, would you be willing to take a look at the business model? Mm-hmm. Right? That's one of my favorite things. Whenever anyone throws an objection out, I'm just not very good with people. If I could, or I just don't know very many people. If I could show you how to do this with a very small warm circle, would you be willing to give it a try and take a look at this information? Right? So whatever their hesitation is, if I can give them my confidence and say, well, if I can show you how to overcome that, would you be willing to take a look? Right? So anytime I get a no, I like to answer with a question. Now, you don't want to do it to the point where you're frustrating the person, but you always should be thinking about questions and not yes and no questions all the time. Right? Open-ended questions. We went to a great training a few years ago. Mary was there, and it was Mary Christensen. Mm. And she talked about the power of an intriguing question. And there's another one that Michelle Garrison had given me many years ago, and it was, let me just ask you a question. If you really needed to make like $1,000 between now and Christmas, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being I'd rather live in my car in a Walmart parking lot, and 10 being absolutely sign me up, well, how likely would you be to do something like I'm doing? Right? So that was a pretty interesting question, right? It wasn't just like, would you do what I do? It was like, I'm pulling you in and I'm asking and I'm gauging. And it's just a great question. That might be a long one. You can come up with shorter ones. But Mary would ask all sorts of interesting questions. Mm-hmm. What would you do with an extra $1,000 this season? If you could travel anywhere, where would it be? Interesting questions, because that segues into our business. So ask interesting questions. Besides, people just love to talk, right? Mm-hmm. So give them an opportunity to. Okay. So we covered the no, not never. This may or may not be for you. These are all good verbiages that I've used in the past. Ask interesting questions. How about this? One of the best targets when you are at a direct selling event and they ask questions. Mary Christensen did this one as well. She said, how many of you in here used to be teachers? Big number of people raised their hands. How many of you in here were in the healthcare industry, like nurses, medical assistants? Big number of people raised their hands. Mm-hmm. And then little things like, how many of you are stay-at-home moms? Big population of people raise their hands. The point being that those tend to be our target audiences, right? They tend to be our target audiences. So when you're at a home show and someone says, oh, I'm a teacher, there should be a little bell in the back of your head going ding, 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 ding. Teachers are really likely to give this business model a try, right? Or, oh, I'm at home. I just had my first child. Ding, 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 ding. Like there should be just certain triggers and we should be looking for certain people that could benefit from our business. And then all you're really doing is you're not trying to recruit them. You're trying to see if we've got a good fit. Because you don't want to sign someone up that doesn't want to do anything, but you don't know unless you check the fit, right? That's another good verbiage I've used before. How about if we just check the fit on this business model? I know you don't feel like it's for you, but let's just check the fit because I'd really love to work with you. Okay. Outgoing parties. I always like to find the most outgoing person, the most charismatic, the person that tries to talk more than I do. I love those people because they'd be great in front of a crowd, right? You always want to tell them why they would be great at this business when you're talking to them. I shared this one already. You want to overcome objections. The best way to do that is get more information. You know, this applies to bookings too. A lot of times people are like, no, I don't think I can do a party. Why would you think that? Well, I've done that before and nobody showed up. Really? Well, if I could show you how to get people there, would you be willing to book a party with me? Again, all I'm doing is loaning them my confidence, right? I've tried direct sales before, it didn't go too well. Really? If I could show you how to make $1,000 this holiday season, would you be willing to sit down and talk to me about the business? Okay. So those are the words. Now, how do we actually get people from, hey, we've got a business lead to let's take a look at this business and make a decision? How are we doing on time, Mir? Oh, we've got 3 minutes. Good, because I got 4 bullet points left. There'll be no time for questions. You'll have to call me later. Number one thing is always try and book a decider show. If someone says, I might be, absolutely do a decider show. If they're not ready to sign right then and there, the best thing to do is a decider show, which simply means they host a show and they decide at the end, do they want to just be the hostess or do they want to make the money from that show? Super easy. Okay. The next one is full service checkout. Always, always, always start with the business information. During your talk, as a chocolatier or a consultant, you're going to say something like, you know what, some of you may be thinking, wow, her job's really fun. So when I check you out, I have information about what I do, and either you or someone you know might be interested, so I'd love to give it to you at checkout. So then when you're at checkout, remember I talked about the business? I just want to see if you have any interest in this business information because you've put yourself on the hook to share that at checkout. So lead with the business first. You'll get a lot of no's, and that's perfectly fine. You just got to go through so many no's to find your yeses. Mm-hmm. Okay. Ask for referrals. A lot of times people will act like they are referring someone to me when really they want the information for themselves. And if they don't, then maybe they really can think of people that would benefit from this. You know, if Nancy has a niece that just had a baby and she's thinking about going back to work and Nancy's really concerned about her niece going back to work with a brand new baby, she's going to be a great referral for me. So ask for referrals. And then the last thing is, what do you do once you have that lead and you have that referral? Well, you can ask them point blank if they're ready to sign up. You can invite them to a team meeting and have them come to the biz op before the team meeting. You can call Mary and do a 3-way call with Mary or whoever your upline is. You can, if you've got someone you're like, I really just need some help, you can reach out to me. We can do a Zoom call similar to this where we go through the benefits of the business. There's a plethora of ways that you can move your leads from point A to point B. You just got to keep moving them forward. And last thing I'm going to say is you never want to leave a lead unsure of where that person is. So either they're going to tell you yes, no, or maybe later. And that's what you're trying to get to at the end. So after you've talked to someone about the business, shared the information, you ask them, what do they think? And they say to you, I'm kind of interested. You know, maybe a decider show's the way to go. Absolutely no way. Then you say, okay, I'm so glad you could be honest with me. Is that a no now or a no never? You know what? I just don't ever see myself doing this. Okay, well, I'd love to keep you as a hostess. Thank you so much for being honest with me, right? And then the other thing they might say is, well, I am kind of interested, but I'm really worried about, you know, XYZ. Well, then you just, you know, I'm worried about my husband. He may not want me to do this. Okay, well, how about if we talk with your husband together? And so you give them a next step. Never leave them just dangling out there. That was 30 minutes, Mary. That was a lot of talking in 30 minutes.
Good job.
I've used up my words for the day. My husband will be grateful.
Anytime.
I'm going to stop the recording because we're at 30 minutes. And people that need to